Thank you. So tonight, the topic du jour is ditching GitHub actions, self-hosted CI for the Unix-minded nerd. And I'm skipping over the who I am because at this point, it's kind of beating a dead horse and I need another picture of myself because I've just been stealing the same picture. But yes, I am your somehow president. Anyone who wants to run, we can have a fight and who can run away the fastest. But basically the assumptions that we're working through with on this talk is that you're somewhat comfortable with Git. You at least know what YAML is. You've seen some containerization, Docker-y sort of things before. You've at least played a little bit about continuous integration stuff, and you're at least familiar with the lingo a little bit. And also that you know a little bit about Linux basics and have dealt with like SSH and those sort of things, because you have to start somewhere. And you're sort of infrastructure curious, but you also really don't want to shave the yak and get way deep into the weeds. So I did it for you instead. But yeah, where did this all start and why are we even talking about this? Well, GitHub, in an attempt to actually be profitable and make their corporate overlords at least some money, decided that they were going to start charging for self-hosting runners, as well as they shook up some other stuff too. They've knocked down some of the pricing of their cloud runners and stuff like that by about 40%. But the biggest sort of shtick was that people got up in arms about was that self-hosted runners were going to be hit with a 0.2 cent cloud platform charge starting in May 2026. People were like, hey, wait a minute, you're having us pay to run stuff on our stuff. There's been a lot of theories about how bad GitHub runners actually are, so that they're basically having to burn up a whole CPU in the cloud just running the housekeeping stuff while it's running. Whether or not that's true.
I suppose the reason why we said it is because, that number looks especially like the smallest runner they offer. That's weird.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of one of those things that CI/CD is now sort of a supply chain boundary. It's not just the glue that keeps stuff together, and it now matters where you choose to home stuff, where before you could just sort of get away with, okay, fine, it's a somewhat small project. I don't have to worry about paying for runners because I'll just run it on my local machine, keep the runner running, and it's fine. GitHub will pay for all the complex stuff like backing up the data and keeping all those sort of things up to date and running, and I'll just do that simple little thing on my side. Now they've decided that was somewhat of a mistake, and people disagreed with them strongly, and so they walked it back. As of late, they're postponing it. However, notice that postponing does not mean that they won't do it at some point in the future. They're just waiting for people.
Everyone's looking in the other way.
Yeah, they're waiting for people to calm down. For now.
They will be altering the deal later. We just don't know when or how.
Yeah, so the big question come is, will others follow suit? If they see that GitHub can get away with it, well, is next GitLab? Or just exactly what else can they nickel and dime you with? If it's a non-public repo, will they start charging you for containerization pulls? Just exactly where does the line come next? So how long will free be free? But really, it just hammers down home that people rely on continuous integration now. It's just not a feature, it's sort of the standard of the way the world works.
A bunch of security controls that that's where they live is in this pipeline, in these pipelines.
Yep. So if you're making sure that you're not leaking passwords out, or making sure there aren't CVEs out for your containers or packages or stuff like
Or your
that.
Terraform doesn't make a publicly exposed bucket.
Yeah.
Various sanity checks.
And someone's not doing git asterisk
Yes.
for your bucket or stuff like that. So basically the whole idea is that you've got your repos, you've got the control plane, and then the runners where the big cost is coming in now, and it executes your build and then generates artifacts afterwards that are your exe, they're your Docker file, all those
War files.
Yep. So yeah, and basically you also have to worry about, when you're going with hosted runners, noisy neighbors eating up your runtime, and also some of the runners infrastructure is just pretty abysmal to compile stuff. Stuff that you can compile on your local box in minutes can take a lot longer than that.
Please see Safe Slave.
But yeah, so, and then also now you're worrying about, okay, marketplace actions equals code that you have no control over, little stuff like that. Also, you run into issues of, if Cloudflare is down, well, your repo's probably down if it's in GitLab or things like that. Sudden policy shifts, well, I mean, GitHub basically spun out that they were going to change stuff with like a couple months notice, essentially. And also, if you can pop GitHub, well, you just got the keys to the kingdom of a lot of places. So they're a very juicy attack target. And also, I don't know about you, but YAML sucks.
Especially GitHub Actions YAML is a particular terrible sadness.
So the heck with it. Let's just host our own. Yes, I've done my best to be meme-tastic here.
There's a bunch of sadness. We have to do something.
Yeah. So anyway, though, thanks for the recommendation, for Joe, or however you actually pronounce it.
I have heard of many pronunciations. I think all of them are correct. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, though, basically it owes its lineage to, originally there was this project called GOGS, and it was just a really simple Git server that really didn't have many features. I think it barely had pull requests, maybe.
I had pull requests. It was, by the time I saw it in like 2015, it looked like GitHub. It had just enough features to be like, it had issues, pull requests, and a Git hosting, and that's about it. And it was maintained by like a guy from China, and that's like about like when I say a guy from China, that's the only, like, if you look at the code, it was like that guy and like maybe a pull request from somebody else.
And I think it was written in, it owes itself back to Go.
It is always written in Go as well.
Yep. So what ended up happening was that was the simplest and oldest, but it has the smallest community, and it's all but essentially frozen at this point. It gets some security updates, maybe, if
when he feels like it,
but it has glacial release speed. So then Git was the fork that forked off of that. It was all the hot stuff in 2016. Everybody loved it. It added GitHub compatible actions. compatible-ish.
Yeah.
But the big issue was that Git, like most places, have decided that they want to be profitable. So they are their own little company now and are doing things that the community got a little twitchy about. So of course, just like all things in Linux, they forked again. And hence came Forjo, and it was a soft fork in 22. And basically by 24, they decided they were done with the shenanigans in Git, so basically Git's whole idea was that they were open core, and then all of the added features and extra stuff that came along was extra for cost. Well, Forjo now is a hard fork. However, even though you say that, a lot of the stuff, if you have a Git compatible runner, it still connects and it still plays very nice with it.
And if you get to instance, there's actually, at least there was a semi-supported way of getting stuff from Git to
Yes,
Forjo.
yeah, there is a migration path. It's a little more convoluted now, is my understanding, but it is possible. So what are the issues we run into this? Look at me, I'm GitHub now. When you are the captain, with great power comes great responsibility. You now own your own uptime. Backups, disk space, monitoring, it's on you. And when something bad happens, it's on you. You can't just say, GitHub's down, it's not my fault. I guess it's AWS. No,
it's Azure.
Yeah. You've got very angry people beating down your door, and plus also the other big problem is Forjo and Git both move fast, and if you don't keep up, skipping versions are problematic. The runners, the actions, various things break from version to version, especially if you go skipping. And little things can be really, really sucky. Also, with GitHub or GitLab or any of those places, the odds of them screwing up your repo bad enough that you lose all your data, fairly small. When you're running,
GitLab would like to interject here and say we did that one time we lose our database. Oops.
Yes, it's not non-zero, but one of the big problems is a plus of Git is that you have it hosted on your local machine too, a repo, but none of the actions, none of the other
or issues.
The ephemeral stuff around it isn't on your local machine, so that's a problem. And so you now have stateful on-disk data. Now, of course, Git et al. Can do Postgres databases, or you can just do the local, I think it's an SQLite
I think
database.
it's SQLite. If it's just you, who cares?
Yeah. But it also does have less features than the big companies. There's a reason why they have big budgets. And also, if you are the guy hosting it for your team, if you win the lottery and run off to get run over by a bus as you're running to the airport to fly away, then they're going to be very mad about you. Then also the biggest problem is, I don't know about you guys, if you've ever tried to get anyone else on board to switch Git repos,
good luck with that.
Yeah, people get very much angry when they have to switch stuff. And so that's going to be one of the things that we'll talk about is disconnecting your runner infrastructure from your actual Git so that when you switch instances, you actually aren't switching what kind of runner space you're using in various ways. So there's some cool stuff we're going to do there. And so let's take a look at Forjo and see a fairly simple hello world case of running it here. So if this share ends up working. Let's go ahead and pop this up to full size. And I will share out this repo afterwards. But so to do Forjo, basically, okay, oops. Let me flip over to this so that you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Now it actually shows what I'm doing. So yeah, to do let's see. Compose. Here we go. So let me make this a little bit bigger. And infrastructure-wise, this is just running Podman desktop on a Mac machine. So I was trying to give some love to our Red Hat brethren. Let me plus this a bit bigger.
I mean, I think there's less annoying. Hey, do you want to buy something from Podman Desktop than just from Docker Desktop?
Yes, it plays very nice. The one gotcha that I did run into, there's a couple hiccups. I was running into permission issues. So the runner that's trying to do essentially Docker and Docker stuff did not play nicely. So I have it running locally on the OS X box instead. But it basically ends up working. But basically,
Docker sounds cursed.
yeah, basically what ends up happening is you have to forward on your Docker pipe, and basically.
Oh, so it's not fully nested.
Yeah, basically it looks like you're Docker and Docker, but you're actually submitting it into the OCI runner. But yeah, so the big gotchas here are that. Especially to play nice with my environment, I'm porting through my user ID since it's rootless, but they have a very nice hosted in Codeberg a container, so you don't really have to do much there. And then from configuration wise, it becomes very stupidly easy. Let me go ahead and just pull up the command line.
And if
here.
you want to play with Forjo and you don't want to set your own instance, Codeberg is Forjo-ish. Just a little bit of secret sauce because it's a shared instance, but it's most the same software.
Yep. So let's see. That's my here. Let's CD to the right page and get this. Okay, I guess. Here we go, CD back. Okay, here we are. Okay, so if you do, Podman, and this is compose up. You can see it's already running. And the big interesting stuff here is that I'm passing through port 3000 and port 22 onto 2222 so that my local SSH doesn't get clobbered. So let's just go ahead and pull open a HTTP localhost 3000. Here we are. This is what Forjo looks like. I mean, it looks just like any other system. And if we pop out and log out of it here, I can't watch and try and drive at the same time. It has a very nice login. When you set up, go to set it up for the first time, it will ask you, where's your database? You just say it's a local file. And what are the IP addresses and what's, I mean, your standard stuff if you've ever set up, like
WordPress.
WordPress, it looks pretty much the same. So my username is lug, and then G11, which I'm not really worried about it getting hacked because it's only available via localhost. But there you go. And you've got all sorts of stuff like you can open issues, pull requests, milestones, etc. And here we have a demo that has a Forjo workflow. And here you can see it's just doing some very simple, stupid stuff. Just running essentially hello world.
And this is GitHub Actions format then?
Yes, this is the GitHub Actions format. And so if we want to just edit it and say hello CIALUG from Forjo Actions, and then we scroll to the bottom, I mean, it looks just like any of the other repos that everyone knows and loves. And we hit commit. And now if we go over to Actions, you can see it's actually running and doing its stuff. And it will just take it a second to pull down and run, hopefully here.
So is this spinning up like a brand new Docker container every time
Yes.
then?
Yep, so it spins up a Docker container inside of the wonder here.
Ooh, so now you're gonna have to calculate your electricity cost for spinning up a Docker container. Let's see.
Okay, so let's
I mean, we live in Iowa, power
Sure,
is
that's
cheap
2
here.
cents. Yeah, you say that, but you haven't seen my bill.
I have one just running my basement.
Okay, let's see here. We want to get into the branches, tags, deploy keys, actions. There we go. Runners. Let's see. Is my okay? That's why it's not spinning up. My runner is currently offline. So okay, let's troubleshoot and see why that is. Here's my runner. Is it this one?
So it's stuff like this that in 50 years it will take a terabyte of RAM to run a hello world program.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
where
mean,
we're
maybe
going
we
with
can
this.
ask today. Kubernetes. Oh
I
my.
mean,
That's where we're going.
so Tuesday night,
Unless
someone
when you have
brought
a heating in the garage too.
C64, Commodore 64, I mean, it's a,
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, remade.
Yep.
It's got a board and it's
Yeah, yeah.
redone.
And an emulator and,
FPGA, to be as close as
Yes.
possible, but still modern. Yeah, anyway.
So it looks good on the monitor like it's supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can plug HDMI into it, but yeah, we were reminded how bloody small
Back
those
then.
programs were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like kilobytes.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah. And they used all sorts of clever tricks to stage off of the next program to do bigger programs and yeah. All sorts of fun stuff.
Also, all that stuff is why like why is x86 so freaking complicated? Oh, good, we did all these bit savings then. So now it's like, wait a second, instruction can
Because it's
yeah,
You
because
can't undo it.
you can't undo it, and like
It's like Strata and
yeah,
if you did,
Yeah.
then Intel would lose the possible.
yeah. There's a reason why the reason why Intel's scared of this.
Also, they tried. And they failed.
I mean,
wasn't Itanium like totally sideways?
There we go.
Itanium
Different.
worked.
Intel, well, Itanium. The problem with Itanium is that it was completely different. So like you couldn't take your old 32-bit application.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Itanium was one of those that was both really ahead of its time and also did not live up to the expectations, even for the people that did buy into it.
The quote I heard from the community meeting for CIS was like, those chips ran hot. Like they were just.
Yeah, because I did quite a bit of reading on it a while back to figure out like one, where can I get one of these servers? Two, do I even want to? Like, what all about it? And yeah, basically, sure, it was in ways what we have now, but also
So how does it,
think of
I'm
the
compiling and flipping my
inefficiencies
burger?
of the Pentium 4 architecture, and combine that with these new ARM and RISC computers that are coming out that take hundreds of watts to have the efficiency of 3 Raspberry Pi, like, you know, like, and don't have driver support, and that don't have, like,
Right,
you know, you need to bring your own OS, but there isn't one that exists for it. Like, all these things. So imagine that marketed as a Cray. Like, that's kind of what Titanium was. It was kind of like now, it did do the thing, and like, it potentially had a lot of potential if they would have kept iteration generations like they have with the core architecture, but
you just have to pour a lot of money into it to
they,
get it anywhere.
they didn't. And yeah, so it inevitably kind of failed.
Anyways,
Okay, so,
Tangent.
yeah, anyway though, so what had happened was my container had run, or my runner had died when I lost network apparently, and put it to sleep. Surprise, that's what sysd would be for if this was a Linux box.
if you have Linger enabled.
Yes. Yep, so anyway though, when I first spun this up, basically it asked me
She's
for
launched it.
the secret, and then and what the address was and all that stuff. It created this file, and basically all I had to do is just rerun ACT runner daemon, which is the runner. And now if we look back at Fojo, you can see it sets up its job. It does it say hello, and then it cleans up after itself afterwards, which is very polite of it. So when you want to add a new runner, basically you come in here to settings, you go to actions, runners, create new runner, and it will give you this token. And then that's what you need to set up a new runner. That and knowing what the URL of your Fojo is. Those are the two things. And then it will ask you what tags do you want to put with it. And in this case, basically it's just some Ubuntu containers. Hopefully that makes sense. Some of the other interesting stuff, which we'll get to here in a bit, is you can also set up webhooks, so it can call other things to either post messages to Slack or trigger another build service or stuff like that. Because there's some people who want to be notified when builds complete and stuff like that.
Maybe your build takes too long, but I'm not one to talk.
Yeah. You can also create branches, do branch protection so that you can stop people from checking into main. They have to do merge requests and
Well,
stuff
what you
like
mean?
that.
I can't just like force push to main every single time. Like that's considered bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Jedi Force pushing, but here we go. You can also enable LFS, which is if you're doing things that you probably shouldn't do in Git, but hey, heck it, we'll just do it.
You don't want to
live.
pay for a Perforce license, so you want to.
This is not the branch you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah, so where that is, like, say you have a large binary you want to store as an artifact, rather than storing it in Git and having that as a boat anchor for the rest of time, every version of that zip, if you're rebuilding it multiple times a day or something like that, you store it on server and it's just a pointer to it that then gets downloaded.
Common for things like if you want to do a video game and you're not using Perforce or some other version control that's a little more designed for lots of big access floating around, LFS can help with that.
Or like other sort of image artifacts or stuff like that.
If you're, anything that isn't text.
Yep, anything that's binary, Git doesn't do a very good job at.
The way that Git thinks about things, it just doesn't work well.
Yes.
Git very much thinks in lines of text files is how Git thinks.
But yeah,
Well,
so
I've done it, but
yeah,
and it works.
I mean,
but it was a small scope. So.
I mean, it works, but then the problem is if you're on version 5001 of your image that's, 2 gigabytes to get kicking around in there, that your repo gets real sad real quick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but if the intern wants to go clone your repo and you've got like a 500 gig .git folder.
But yeah, so you can see here, I pulled from Forjo, and you can see I had a change, etc. It works, it's fine. I understand that it maybe doesn't perform the best if you have a large team with super large projects. It's you get what you pay for somewhat,
Yeah.
but
If you go click around on Codeberg, that hosted for instance, there's a couple of spots where you click on, Git T or on Forjo's Git repo. It's like, it gets a little. You look up the number of commits. GitHub, it's like that. And Forjo, it takes a second or take like 3 seconds on the Gits. Like you said, you pay for it for sure.
Yep. So
you're using the Git's runners then?
Yes, this is Git's runner at the moment, just because that was the easiest thing I could grab onto. But I installed it using Brew.
Okay.
So, but there is a container, and if you actually have your Podman set up properly, it actually does work. But essentially, and you can totally get it running in a Podman or in a Docker Compose. And basically, you just set up your runner, and you put in your what the machine name is. Networking gets a little bit quirky because you have to tell it what the pod name is of the Forjo that you're connecting to versus localhost versus etc. There's some networking voodoo magic that you have to play nice with.
You start feeling like you're a Kubernetes admin a little bit.
Yeah.
Casual.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah, so anyway though, in theory it works great, and it is GitHub Action compatible-ish. It's not like for like, but for most simple stuff, you should be fine.
The image. So GitHub has these images that they publish of it has every tool known to man that's automatically installed. I'm assuming you have a choice of how much junk you want to bring in on that.
Yeah, I mean, categorically, I never go with their images in the first place. I build my own build images because I like having more control over all that stuff.
Well, I guess really good actions work. It's you have to pick one of the bases.
Yes. But yeah, usually I go with the most simplest base possible and just run from there, installing my own stuff.
Okay. What we typically do is we run, because you can run containers inside of GitHub Actions.
Yep.
That's typically what we do.
Yeah.
We generally don't run directly on the Ubuntu installs, because who the heck knows? Those are there's a lot of software installed in those boxes. D-Lang, I think, might be installed directly on there. When I said everything, their images are huge, 23 gigs.
Yep. So, and in this case, if you look at your CI action here, I'm actually just running the Ubuntu latest image.
Just like you would on GitHub Actions.
Yeah. And so that has Echo on it, obviously. And that's really all I'm doing in this build here, just because it was a simple, easy thing to point out. So then the next spot here is, let me find, there we go. Sorry. Let's go back to sharing. Flip back to my slide deck here. And tapping is hard. Oh, come on. It should be, sorry here, I fail at doing PowerPoint here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the next big thought is that and sort of revelation is that self-hosting your runners doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're self-hosting the entire full control plane and your Git and all of those things. You don't necessarily have to do it all. Just do the part that's costing you money. And so that brings in our next tool to quick show off here, and that's called Woodpecker. And it is basically just a
We
light,
run out of other names, so they gotta choose.
yes, squirrel. But it is a light CI server where all it does is just build. It doesn't do the Git. It doesn't do anything like that. It's sort of Jenkins-esque in that, except for it isn't as big of a pain in the hind end as what Jenkins is.
I'm assuming it's not a 50,000-pound gorilla running around in your system like Jenkins is.
Yep, it's based off of Drone, if you've ever heard or seen of that. I hadn't.
I think I've briefly heard of it, but I don't remember what a lot about it.
But it's agnostic to what sort of Git you have. It has a webhook that, as long as you can put it at a spot where the Git provider can trigger it, it works just fine. It's also designed to self-host yourself, and it is very happy running in Podman. So the first thing you have to do is create a OAuth token inside of Forjo that will give it access to everything. And we will pop back over to the demo instance here to show that off. And let me hit.
It's an identity provider. Oh, that's amazing and scary at all the same time.
Yeah. Okay, so if we look back here. Okay, there we go. Wow, that's really weird that it's slowly degrading itself, but yes.
To infinity.
So Woodpecker, again, we're just gonna do a, here we're gonna look and we're gonna have a Docker compose, and basically we're just forwarding on port 8000, and we're storing some data in a persistent volume here. And again, we're just pulling their latest image because why not? And I have that stored on port 8000. So if we flip over here and we look at localhost port 8000, here is our Woodpecker. Let's just log out and start from the beginning here. So we log in and come on, log out. Oh, because I'm already logged into Forjo. It actually is doing OAuth to authenticate. If you come in from another browser, it will prompt you to log in and do the normal ODC.
Probably ODC, like you said?
Yep.
That's mildly horrifying.
But when you go to connect, since we only have one repo on our
Security of ODC is fun.
ODA.
Not saying.
OpenID Connect.
Yep.
It's not SAML, because SAML's, if you want to talk about a real security environment, SAML's scary. It's like, hey, what if we had some signed XML we just pass along each other? There's so many ways to get SAML wrong, that's not even funny.
Yeah, so ODIC, basically you're chucking in it's a way of getting a JWT token that you can use to authenticate yourself. Hand waving.
Yes, lots of hand waving, but.
And so, yeah, here you can see it's actually seeing that it's connected to a Git instance, essentially, because it looks the same. But if you go into settings, you can set that you can run on pull requests, etc. You can set how visible your project is, what happens should it, cancel the previous pipeline if you do another push on top of it.
Oh, that's useful.
Which is very nice, because if you have something that runs really long, you realize, oh, crud, I just screwed something up, and you push again like 5 minutes later, your thing's still building. Well, now you have to wait for your pipeline to finish
Before you can get a new
before
runner.
you can get a new runner necessarily, if all the resources are taken up. Where here, if you just totally nerf it, kill it, start over again. But so it has some nice things. There are secrets that you can add in that end up showing up as environmental runners, just like they do anywhere else. So you can go like super
password.
And then essentially when you run a build at a push, it will have that as an environmental variable. So I don't need to know the password as a normal developer. In fact, you can have the password changing multiple times a day through something.
And you never care.
And you don't care, because I don't want to know.
I want to secrets is if you're accepting pull requests from unknown sources, secrets in CI is a royal pain to deal with.
Yep. And then also like registry credentials, you can actually have a Docker registry to store your private images. So like say if you actually have your own local private image or something like that, or if you pay Docker Hub money, you can put your password in there, etc. You can set cron jobs to trigger a build, like say a nightly build or something like that. You can do badges if you're a cool kid like that. And then if things get screwed up, you can try and repair things for whatever value.
Does this have a easy option to like cache Docker images? So you don't want to pay Docker, but like if you like go and fetch a Docker image, will it go and transparently hang on to it for you?
So I think in that case, you're at the mercy of the OCI runner on your local instance. That's
Okay, so if you figure your runner to go retain images like that.
Because all this is doing, and we'll see it here in just a second when I hit run. Let's just go ahead and build off of main. You could add additional variables if you wanted to, but all this will actually end up doing is it will actually literally run a, so if we look here, it's actually spinning up a container and doing your Git checkouts and talking to the internal host.containers.internal is if you have localhost, that's what it ends up actually being. And if you run here, you can see it's just running my Woodpecker CI job. So if we look at what is here in woodpecker.yaml, which is going to be very close to your GitHub Actions, but it is not directly compatible.
It almost looks like GitLab, and not quite.
Yeah, it felt very GitLab-y.
Mm-hmm.
But so you can see my clone is running Woodpecker CI plugin.git, and it's pulling from this remote. And then this is just an Alpine image that's doing these things. So if we take a look back there, you can see that this is branch main and is a manual build. And that's where you saw that if you looked in here at settings in your webhooks, this is where that port 8000 hook came from. As you check stuff in, it will actually hook over to.
So when you open a pull request, that will kick off the build job.
Yes.
Does that auto then send a status into your pull request then?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
That's where you'd have to do like another call back to Forjo and call its webhook or something
So you
like
have
that.
to go say, hey, go attach a status onto this one.
Yeah, that's where you sort of like when you run Jenkins. it doesn't have quite those niceties there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's the nice thing is that if you don't want to have everyone move from GitHub or GitLab or whatever, you can have a builder, and then in 6 months when your infrastructure team says, hey, guess what, guys, we're switching to the latest, newest, cool Git because it's cheaper and it has cool CI stuff. Well, you can say, I'm done, I don't wanna. I'll just run this runner and it will be fine. So yeah, that's Woodpecker. Again, basically, a lot of the ways that I like to look at it, I usually have like a do.sh script in my project, and that's all of the stuff to run the build process itself. And really your actual runners are very thin in how much crap you put in the actual YAML, because it's just nice not having to mess with that crap. And so then the one last sort of demo piece that we'll look at here is the biggest problem I always run into is, well, so you've got this big long running builder that takes minutes, days, hours, weeks, months to run. Well, when I built it locally, it worked just fine. Well, now it doesn't. So where are you going to go from there? And if I can click right here, really, I don't know about you, but I'm just really tired of switching build processes every couple years. So I was hoping that Will could have joined in. He's unfortunately under the weather right now, but he recommended this dagger.io, and it solves the problem of YAML sucking so very much by not having YAML. But it's a platform that is for automating software delivery. You can build, test, ship any code base reliably at scale, etc. And it will run locally. It runs on your CI server, and they also have a as a service in the cloud. But it's not a CI server. It's basically a runner replacement. So what you'd have is in your GitLab option runner or your Forjo runner, whatever, you just make sure you have this thing installed and essentially have it so that it can run Docker images or OCI images, and it will run your build inside of that. And it is essentially a portable, flexible execution layer that does pipeline as code, not as YAML.
It looks like you can run it locally, so there's no more commit, push, wait for GitHub slow as crap runners to do it. Ah, crap, made a mistake. Rinse water beast.
Yep, so you can run it wherever you want to. Jenkins,
that is nice.
etc. And the really nice thing is it lets you change where your CI runs without rewriting your CI. Essentially what you're doing is you have your scheduler. Basically all you're using your CI process for is scheduling the run, and it kicks off Dagger, which then is the engine, and your OCI container is the contract of what you're running. Why? Independence. You don't have to worry about what Git you're running or how any of the builds are. Migration's really simple. All you have to do is figure out how to execute that one command and make sure you have a container with it installed, and you're good to go. And you don't have to rewrite your pipeline. YAML is not a worry anymore, which I'm very excited. I'm going to try and start pitching people to use this at work because I'm excited. You don't have to worry about, okay, do I have the right number of tabs and using the right GitHub verbs and etc. And also you can pick what language you want your pipeline to run in. The config file is Go, it's in Python, TypeScript, etc. And you can also test it the same way running locally. So it works on CI, but not my machine isn't a problem because it containerizes all the things. It also removes any sort of risk of marketplace actions, third-party code underpinning everything, and everything is very explicit and versioned because it's just code. So let's take a look at it here in the demo. And we'll share here. And so I hit share. And so let's look at our, I've got the Dagger demo here. And this is actually a little bit of stuff here. So let's just look at our README because READMEs matter. Basically, we're saying, hey, you need to have Python. I'm using UV because why not? And it's pretty easy to set stuff up. This is where I have the best documentation, but basically to run it, you just run the command UV run Dagger. Yes, there's a lot of runs here, but essentially what's happening here is UV is running Python that runs the Dagger Python install, and it's saying, hey, Dagger, run my Python script here that is dagger.pipeline.py. And the more V's you tack after it, the more verbose it becomes.
Classic.
Yep. And so yeah, there's what do I actually have happening here? If we look at our first, let's look at our app. It's stupid. It's very simple. It's adding 2 numbers. Again, nothing earth-shattering here. It's just saying, okay, here's a function to add 2 integers, and all it's doing is just A plus B. Not anything amazing. It's Python. I have some unit testing to make sure that my code is actually correct, because of course, why not? And then let's look at our pipeline.py. Let's make this a little bit bigger so those in the back of the room can see, because I am trying to be kind to Jared and his glasses there.
Enough of that.
Okay, so anyway, though, the big things that you need to have here is it depends on Dagger, and then we're doing a couple cool things with system and OS here. So you connect to Dagger, and we're logging to standard out, and then we're saying, hey, don't go ahead and pass these things that just are cruft on. I was debugging it, so we print out to standard hello from the other side. And then this is the part where we start building. So we want a client container that is Python 3.12 Slim. Go ahead and pass into it the source directory. Set the work directory to source. It feels very Docker-esque. And then go ahead and install PyTest and everything that's inside of my PyProject TOML, which if we look at, it's, there's some polish here. I can't say I'm very proud of my PyProject TOML, but basically it's saying what are my requirements, and then it says, okay, well, once you're done running the installs, go ahead and run PyTest on it, so run the unit tests. And then afterwards, let's make the directory artifacts and take my results file and put it into the artifacts folder. So very, very explicit, very cool. And then of course it's running as async and does its stuff. So let's just go ahead and pop into it and try triggering a run here. So let's hide there. And we're in the Git project. Let's go ahead and CD back out to one more level. Dagger demo. And now if we go UV, run, dagger, run, and dagger pipeline.py, we hit return, and let's see here, it built the demo CI, and nothing really earth-shattering about it. If we look at in the artifacts file, you can see that it ran the unit tests, and it didn't take very long because it's not really doing anything. So if we wanted to change stuff inside of there, you can do, let's just go ahead and add something here with, let's add the verbose to see more running here. You can see connected, and it's advertising there. Yeah. Let's UV run app. Let's run the unit testing just outside here to make sure it's actually working and that I'm in the right folder, because I'm expecting to see a couple more things here. So we want to do run PyTest. I can't type. I want UV, not VU. And there you can see it actually runs. So if we run okay, so if we go dagger, oh, I know what's missing. I'm an idiot. There. And now we're actually able to step through line by line. Because you can actually step through and debug while you're at it as well.
A proper debugger for CI. What a concept.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive in that way. Let's see if let's see here. Sorry here. But yeah, so that's the stack of fun, of interesting things that, so Picker agent. Yeah, so anyway though, issues that I ran into with these were of course the fact that since it's running inside of Podman, network, and I was using Podman Compose, network and from one pod to the other communication was rough. The fact that it was rootless, I ran into issues that the socket that it was running is readable and set up by my user out in the real world. But even if I was still assuming the same user inside of the pod itself, that socket was not becoming visible. I could have probably got around it by just running sudo, but yeah, so those were the big hiccups that came along in learning wise. And I've got like one or two more slides here, and then we're actually hitting about the time I figured I'd be at here, so that's awesome. Let's hit screen sharing. And so, yeah, there we go. So there is the Dagger output of installing it. It's in Brew. You can also just at their website, dagger.io, they have the standard curl install command, because of course everybody's doing it.
Curl sudo bash, best installer ever.
Yep. So yeah, and you just pipe it into your home local bin sh, and it's fine. It installs it there. It's all right. YOLO. And so basically, CI is now infrastructure. It's not just a feature. Convenience always has a cost, and if it doesn't now, just wait. As soon as you get hooked on it, it will. Self-hosting, essentially, you're trading money for responsibility and heartburn. But being portable and flexible buys you time, and you can also then be agnostic about where you run anything, because you never know. Mommy and daddy might get together and stop fighting, and you could be on Azure DevOps next week. Who knows? You don't need to replace everything, though. You just need to know what you depend on. And really, what I've come to the conclusion is you should own what matters and rent the rest, because I don't have time to run my own mail server. And I really don't want to run my own Git server and depend that everything's always going to be okay. I want to write code. I don't want to be a server admin. Life's too short to deal with that kind of junk.
Well,
There are other people that feel the exact opposite.
Yes, there are other people that are exactly the opposite, and I'm no longer one of them, but yes.
So if you can find a volunteer who is willing to do all of the things, great. I love it, especially if you're a big software place like Red Hat or someone like that, where
you can form out an entire team.
yeah, you have people. They very well may be in India, but you have people to do those things.
Wow.
And and you know what? Anything that makes it not my problem, then you have to do the equation of, is the per seat cost worth paying someone else to do the problem, or is it and outsourcing the heartburn, or is it worth doing it yourself? Is it strategic? Is it worth it? You know, that's a question you have to answer yourself. Has GitLab made you or GitHub made you mad enough that you're going to say, the heck with you, I'm going to do it myself? Or just where do you want to land on that is the thought that I'll leave you with.
Something about security. If you are accepting pull requests from randos, running on GitHub infrastructure is very nice, because they spin it up in a way that's a little bit probably better than in, you have to be careful where you host on yours, your side, what network is it adjacent to, and a whole bunch of.
Well, and that's one of the risks with running self-runners, is that if it's running on your local machine, it's running on your local machine.
It is RCE as a service, like
Yes.
by definition.
But it's also nice if there's some sort of local something or other that you can't get to from the internet. Well, your build can now get to it because it's running on your local network.
Yep, it is pluses and minuses at the same time. You just need to know where your boundaries are, and
You could have it change the color of your lights on your Philips Hue. Whatever it's doing, it's running. And then turn it back when it's done if you wanted, without having to connect to the Philips Hue API, which would probably be easier.
But yeah, so that was my fun exploration for the week. I was hoping that Will was going to be here to show off more, because he felt, I know, very strongly about being able to show off Dagger. But I'm definitely excited in the fact that it looks really, really nice and doesn't have nearly the amount of crud that YAML-based junk is.
So you said you can use whatever language you want for it, right?
As long as there's a library for it, yes.
Does it support XML?
It needs to be a programming language.
Yeah, that's not a programming language.
Excel.
Is YAML? They're both markup languages, so is TOML.
I'd argue that YAML is a scripting language in the way that the runners use it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that HTML is a programming language in the way that browsers use it.
Yeah, I mean, Excel, or you could, if you really wanted to, you could use XLT if you really hated your life.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd argue that HTML is a markup language and JavaScript inside of it is the actual programming language.
It is hypertext markup language.
Yeah.
Yeah, but YAML is yet another markup language.
Yep.
And TOML is Tom's obvious markup language.
Yeah.
XML is markup language.
Yeah, extendable markup language.
Also known as Elon's markup. Oh wait, no, that's not.
Yeah. But really, de facto, the YAML in the way that it's running is a de facto really crappy shell script.
It basically is, it is shell script with, if you have certain places, it
With
is
metadata.
with metadata, and if you're super unlucky, there is TypeScript, or I might have to put JavaScript. GitHub Action Script.
Yeah, don't do that.
I've had to, at certain points in time, to coordinate between different parts of GitHub's API.
Yeah, I mean, I admit I've used GitLab's API before in Python to do unholy things.
Oh, no, this is literally just like, uses GitHub's action script, and then you just write some JavaScript in the YAML. It's beautiful.
Ugh. Yeah, that's evil.
Yeah, I've done some torturous things. We can stop recording if we want to.
Yeah.